and welcome to TrishRockTV, an energy shift, changing energy, shifting perceptions. This is week 10 of the Enlightened Changemaker series, and I'm delighted to have Mea Voce here from the Be Kind Revolution. Mea is a global initiator and visionary, sparking the light of kindness and compassion worldwide. She is a mystic warrior, energy goddess, and mistress of 5, opening the doorway to radical change and transformation. In addition, she is an inspirational and motivational speaker, master energy healer, and oracle, connecting deeply to cosmic and spiritual energy. She is a spiritual counselor, transformational guide, and teacher, offering a variety of workshops, courses, and trainings and personalized sessions. She can be found each week on the Om Times Radio, the Power of 5, and contributes to a variety of online magazines, including Om Times and Medium magazine. Recently, she was named as an Enlightened Changemaker in 2020 in Holistic Bliss magazine, which we'll be talking about. Her most sacred work is being mother to a young maiden who teaches her daily to appreciate the little things in life. All right, it is my absolute pleasure to welcome Mea. Hi, Mea.
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me and sharing this sacred space with me. I'm truly grateful. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. And you're just such a beautiful shining light. I'm so honored to have you here on the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes.
So let's start with the Be Kind Revolution. What was the inspiration for starting that?
Well, last year was not the easiest year for me. So if I can share a bit of my personal story with you.
Yes, yes.
January 29th of 2019, my partner and father of my young daughter that you've mentioned, he left our house to go meet up with some friends, celebrate the beginning of a new business. He was going downtown Sydney. He was going to stay in a hotel for the night and then come back to our home in Glenorrhea, so out in the suburbs the next day. And unbeknownst to me, he never made it back to the hotel. The next morning, the police came to my house, 2 armed guards, 7 a.m., bright and early, and they informed me that he had been found deceased. So,
gosh.
I'm sure that you
not a wake-up call that anybody wants.
No, it was very surreal and very much like a movie. And then bits and pieces of the story, which truly I don't know to this day, had begun to unravel and to come out. But the true part of the inspiration for Be Kind, I'd like to share. I have learned from the police that there was one eyewitness who came forward, and this eyewitness found Pete after he had left the pub, wandering the streets. He saw him down on his knees, and he said he was not, he wasn't responsive. He wasn't answering to his name. He obviously was in some kind of distress. And it's this moment, and I would ask you, Trish, if you're going for a walk in the evening and you see a person who was not 20, he's 51, down on his knees and obviously in some sort of physical distress, what would you do? I'm sure that your motherly instincts would call out for help, perhaps take those couple of moments to call for help. But this gentleman did not in his whatever happened that moment. So he simply walked on and he left Pete there in this place of distress. And I can only believe that if he had taken that time, taken those 3 seconds to dial 000, get someone there to see what was wrong with him, perhaps the story would have ended differently. But he didn't.
Because he didn't even have to go up and approach him if he was a bit frightened. He could have just called.
Exactly. But he didn't for whatever reason. And Pete went on his way and then died later that night. So that fact sits with me, and it had sat with me after this, and really drove this point home of how far have we come as a society, as humanity, that we don't have this instinctive call to help others. It's this sense of fear, perhaps, of what is he going to do to me or what's up with him. I mean, I don't know what was going through his head. But that really sunk home. And as I went forward in those days and had to mother a young child, which, mind you, if that wasn't hard enough to look in the eyes of your young child and tell her, her daddy, who she adored, was not coming home for any reason I couldn't fathom at that moment, that is a life-changing moment. It rips you apart and really pushes you through that wall of transformation at that point. So
I mean, it's hard enough. It's hard enough dealing with that yourself, let alone having to also hold up your children through that crisis too. Yeah.
There's so many layers of going on, so many things you're dealing with as you're plunged into not only grief, but this chaos, this aftermath of death. And he was our provider in our family. So there's also the aspect of when he left us, income left us, everything shifted overnight. Everything shifted. So your show so aptly named An Energy Shift. There was many shifts that occurred. So it took a lot of focus, a lot of really sinking into myself, listening to my body, honoring where I was day by day by day. The practice of being in the now became just vital to surviving that period. But I began to think, how do I move forward from this? Obviously, there's a lesson here. Obviously, there's a reason. I do believe there's a reason for everything. As tragic as this was, as much as I miss my partner, I do believe that there was a reason for it. And that reason I've come to see is the birth of Be Kind, the Be Kind revolution, because it's inspired my Aries warrior nature to really get out there and change the world and make a difference. Because if this can happen in our family, this happens, obviously, different scenarios, different situations. I mean, look at the world today, Trish. We are in this place of meltdown. So in the beginning, I thought Be Kind was really my healing tool to get up the next day. It gave me purpose. But I truly believe now, a year later, that it was birthed for now, for this period.
Absolutely perfect timing, and it's a great message for anyone who is going through anything. We have the choice in that moment, no matter how devastating it is, to choose our energy about it, and to choose to move forward, or to, and moving forward and seeing everything as perfect divinity and everything is always for a reason, doesn't mean that we've moved on or and we're not in pain. And I think a lot of people, you say that to them and they're like, oh, but I'm not ready to move past it or onwards or over. I'm not over it. But it doesn't mean you're over it. It means you're choosing in that moment how you feel. And that's a really big energy shift in itself, because I know, you and your daughter are still dealing with it. It's still a lot of sadness, and you're choosing in the moment to now try to empower other people as well. So it's a beautiful movement you've started.
Yes. If I can add, because I know you talk about perception, and that's a big part of the theme of your show. And if I could add, as I was going through those very raw initial places, I remember having a conversation with someone who actually interviewed me for a newsletter that she was writing for mentorship. And she said, how do you view this time? And I looked at it. She goes, a bad time. What words do you give to it? And I said, no, I don't believe that you give things a word, like good or bad, all these polarities. I said, for me, I'm going to look at this time as a time of transformation. And with transformation comes great potential. So with that, it shifted the energy from this place of real darkness to just, okay, there's going to be a light at the end of this transformation. Comes light, comes growth. So
yes, absolutely. That's beautiful. And it's definitely a time of kindness right now. And it's been interesting watching the last month unfold with the amount of kindness that has now been on show. And I feel that there is a lot of kindness behind the scenes, but people don't tend to say, look at me, I'm being kind, but it's really come out a little bit. Is this one of the reasons you've called it a revolution? What's the story behind the Be Kind?
Yes, thank you for asking that. So when we were developing the initial stages of Be Kind, and I'd like to mention my beautiful sister, Rebecca Smith, who's in Australia and still there, not able to be with us today, who's been an integral part of the thinking and the planning and the vision boarding of Be Kind. I was thinking this is not just about acts of kindness outside. This is a big turn and a revolution in thinking, because we're taking that finger that's pointing and blaming and shaming everyone else outside. The world is to blame for my state, and we're turning it inside.
Okay.
So it is a revolution in thinking. We are a society that looks outside. We like to blame everyone else, right, for our problems. And this is really this huge shift of turning it inside, that we are energy beings, as I'm sure you talk about much. We are energy beings in control of our energy. That is really the only thing we can control in this life. And how can we expect to share kindness and compassion with the world if we're not understanding what it is for ourselves? That's the heart of being.
And if we're not being it, and it's interesting putting the finger back this way, because there's a lot of people finger pointing saying you should be kinder. Why aren't they being kinder? But it needs to come back here and start with ourselves and expressing that kindness and and kindness for ourselves first too, and some compassion and love for ourselves too, because we're all often so hard on ourselves.
We are so hard on ourselves, especially women are so very hard on ourselves and judgmental and sitting in that place of lack and less than. So the revolution of Be Kind is to let go of all of that and to get in that place of love. Because love is our superpower. It's such a simple thing, it sounds like, but really when we love and accept ourselves fully, unconditionally, that's where manifestation happens. And I just got my massive goosebumps. This is where the magic happens. It's where we let go, right? And we shed all of that other junk that we don't need anymore, that blocks us from manifesting this life that we truly deserve. So that's all part and parcel of Be Kind, and letting go, and forgiveness work for being hard on ourselves. That is a big part of the workshops that we will be running soon.
And your 100% club, which is taking 100% responsibility for our own selves and our own actions.
Thoughts. That's a big thing too. And I know that's a big energy shift for some people, to understand that thoughts are energy. And that's changing our own energy field, which of course goes out into the world. So thoughts need to be monitored, and considered to be part of energy. And that is part of the 100% club, that we take 100% responsibility for our thoughts, actions, deeds. Everything is accountable in this life. Everything.
It is. And that's really the big shift. And another thing you talk about is the big shift from our energy, from this 3D reality. And I talk a lot about that too. And it's not about, the fantasy of being in the 5th or the 6th dimension. It's actually just taking responsibility for ourselves and seeing things as they are. So what's your thoughts on that?
Yes, and so that's why I put forth Energy Goddess, because I feel like, one, Goddess, because I understand that I have this awesome infinite ability to create the reality I want, and the understanding that. Well, let me back up for a second. I wrote a blog post about this a couple of days ago, about how we're shifting. There's this great divide right now occurring in our world around us. And there's those that are so firmly fixed into the story. They see everything they hear on the news. And then there's others who I'm sure you talk to very often, are having this awakening and live in this energy place. And that's where I reside, in this energy place. But it's not just thinking that we're energy. When you're in that place, you need to live it. So, right? Intention, meditation, all of these things that set out our energy and set out to attract back to us what we want to manifest in this world. So, yes.
Absolutely. And I'm seeing a really big separation now. I've said over the last couple of weeks, I feel like there's two like human races on Earth
exactly.
at the moment. It's just getting more and more kind of apart. But but more and more people starting to tune into their own energy and take responsibility.
Yes.
So, Mea, you call yourself a global initiator. I love this. Can you explain this and what that's all about?
Yes. And this came about maybe a couple months after Pete went back into the light, and I was sitting there really redefining myself, because I was truly in the void, which all of us are in today. All of us are sitting in this void, this place of new beginning, new ending. And I thought, well, who am I now? I'm not a partner anymore. Our family structure is different. Obviously, I need to rethink my projects and what I'm doing. What is my real purpose in the world? And what came to me, because I am an Aries and we are about action, is that it is about action. And I thought, I'm a global initiator. I said, I'm an activator. I want to spark that light of kindness. One heart to one heart. Let's spread this. And begin this revolution is what came. So it is this time of action. You know, I've spent many a day in meditation, beautiful retreats where you just get to sit and not do anything except meditate. Which is an action of itself. I shouldn't say. When we're meditating, of course, we're generating energy. So I don't want to go that we're not doing something.
Absolutely, yeah. It feels to me like you've been, gathering all your fuel and getting clear on like a rocket. You're getting clear on the direction, gathering all your fuel, and you're about to take it off.
But I'm taking others with me, Trish. I'm going out there because here, as you said, we have this divide of consciousness now. And we have all these newly awakened souls who are beginning to understand that they are energy, but don't know what to do with that, because that's not what we're taught in school. We're not taught how to work with our energy form. So as I'm taking off, I'm taking people with me. We're gonna figure it out together to change this world. That's a big
We're gonna hop on board the Be Kind revolution. I love it.
Definitely.
So you've spoken a little bit about your visions and your hopes for the revolution. Where do you think that will take you and other people in the future?
So there's two layers to Be Kind right now. One is that we're asking everyone to step up and be a crusader of kindness. So if you jump on the Be Kind revolution.life website, it's very simple. It's just making a commitment. And so you talk about energy, verbalizing a commitment, thinking about a commitment. So this is actually downloading a pledge and saying, yes, I want to help out and be part of this change in the world by being a crusader of kindness. So a very simple step. And then we outline 100% Club, as we've been talking about. So that's in part, and that's to get this spark going. You know, let's get people thinking about kindness and compassion. But again, in the inner sense, let's take care of ourselves. My grand vision,
I guess even that initial vow of I'm vowing to be, that's a step for it's a commitment to themselves, isn't it?
It's a commitment to themselves. And in the pledge that we've created to download, it's very simple, just outlines what we've been discussing, but gives you room to put your own commitment to yourself. In my journey, I think one of the most important turning points is when I realized I needed to make a commitment to myself. I have a child to take care of. I have family, friends, but I needed to worry about me, and to turn that finger into here and really do some thinking. So that's what we ask. Just make a verbal commitment to kindness, compassion, loving yourself, and let's get this party started.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're in beautiful Hawaii at the moment, which is, my dream destination.
You're welcome anytime. Yes. But this is the home of manifestation. We are literally situated on the volcano. So the home of Pele. There could not be more a transformational part anywhere in the world. Amazing.
And it's no accident that you've ended up there either. I mean, here's the thing. Once we make those commitments and those vows to ourselves in any way that we're doing that, things open up. As soon as we say, I'm done, I'm ready for the next step, things open up. And it's just really fascinating how that happens. Now, Mea, people can work with you online, but you've also got a radio show now. So tell us a little bit about that and what goes on on your show.
Sure. So we're getting going just this week. I'll have my first show tomorrow in April. And sorry, I forgot this is taped. Okay, sorry. Okay. So on my radio show, it's Om Times Radio, and the show is called The Power of Five. And the reason it's called Power of Five is because I've connected with the energy of five, which to me is change and transformation. So what we discuss on the show is all about opening the doorway to personal change and transformation. Really honoring our darkness. That's what it is. So when we're sitting in these times of chaos, change, grief, whatever situation arises in your life, we like to rush through those sticky bits, don't we? You know, we don't like to sit in the
push them away or hide them or get busy and don't notice them.
and think they don't exist. But what I found and what I would encourage others, and we'll be talking about much on Power of Five, is really getting into those sticky spaces and honoring them and finding comfort within those discomfort. Those moments, I think, is the beauty, and that's where the magic happens, where change happens. But we have to honor both sides of ourselves, the dark and the light. So there's lots of great talking, lots of inspiration, talking about change. We talk about cosmic energy, where we are today, what's actually happening with this energy form we call virus. So lots to connect to. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. And I'm really pleased you're talking about some shadow work, because for so long in our society, we've been told just to suppress, push it down, suppress, push it down. And I think even in the kind of older therapy ways where you're a psychiatrist for 10 years peeling the onion, even then some of those darker shadows weren't addressed, right? So I think you've got to embrace all emotions, because we are all of them.
Yes, we are all of them. And if I can add one more quick thing that just came through, I talk a lot about how we humans overcomplicate everything. We overcomplicate everything. When I had my meditation center and people would come to me with resistance to meditation, I say it's very easy. You find a place to sit, you clear your head. That's really it. You don't need anything else. Just sit for a moment. Find a tree. So when we talk about energy and connecting to our bodies, which I do talk a lot about, because that is the key in this new age, to understanding our energy, just connecting to it. It again is very easy. When we're happy, it tells us we're following our soul path and we're in alignment with cosmic energy. When we're unhappy, it's the opposite. There's a reason for it. So it can be that simple, but you have to read your body and follow what it's saying. That's kind of the key. Actually take action steps, right?
Both. We're a physical being and a spiritual being, and we're here in the physical world, so we need to tune into our body as well as our energy.
Yes. Our body is here for a beautiful reason, but it has such intelligence. I'd share a quick story. I remember when I was little being obsessed, and I mean really little, like this is not normal for a child thinking, but obviously was my soul path. That why is there such a disconnect between our heads and our bodies? Why do we get sick and we don't have a clue as to why we're sick or when we're getting sick? Like I was really tortured by this at the age of 5. I drove my parents nuts. But it was my soul calling. And as you said, our bodies are our blueprint. It's our map to this world. So it's vital to connect to get through this new consciousness, into this new age. So
absolutely. Yeah. Gosh, it's just been such a pleasure talking with you, and I really feel that even everybody who's listening today, you've made a difference, and really given them something new to think about, and let's all start with that pledge to be kind to ourselves, really, and that just shines out to everyone else.
If we can just think one person takes the pledge and another, and this light grows. And that's why I refer to myself as an activator. You know, reaching in through the heart of everyone out there, but one heart at a time. And let's just get this ripple going, you know, get this party started, a party of kindness and compassion.
Absolutely.
This world is singing in fear right now. And we are in control of that fear. As you mentioned, we are in control of creating that fear within us. So yes, go to BeKindRevolution.life. Let's sign the pledge and let's all join together, you know, to be this change in the world. Right.
Absolutely. So I've got all the links there for people to connect with you.
Yes.
And they could also connect with you on through Facebook, but the websites are probably the best. And of course, you are one of the Enlightened Changemakers in Holistic Bliss this month and this year. And here's you and Rebecca.
And Rebecca, yes, so gorgeous.
Beautiful. So people can connect with you through the magazine as well at holisticbliss.com. And it's a beautiful free magazine, and you can get that totally online and read all the inspiring stories and connect with Mea there as well. So and good luck with your radio show. I'm sure it's going to be amazing.
Yes, thank you. I'm so excited to be back on air. I love talking on air. It's 1 hour, and I wish it was longer, but I will probably be spilling over into a podcast so that I have free reign. You know, I'm a little bit held back by the radio platform. I have to respect all of they have, but podcast free reign. But thank you, because I'm really super psyched to be back on air, energy, and guests in the future and all sorts. Yes.
I'll have the link there for people to connect with you there as well. And thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And thank you everybody for tuning in. And I look forward to seeing you next week on Trish Rock TV. Bye for now.